Where else you can communicate with different kind of people.
Absolutely.
From different sectors, from different sections, from different society, different culture. The most rewarding point of banking industry is that you are getting to meet different kind of people. Okay, you have knowledge, you have power, and then you become vocal through your communication skills. You become a good listener, you empathize, because your everything is backed by knowledge, and then the experience comes into the picture. Expand your skills at various fields. That's how you grow up the ladder also. Still there somewhere at the corner of the mind, subset of the mind of people, women cannot manage large chunk of money. Okay, so that is still a challenge, and that is that. If you ask me the next question, how we are here to stay, right? A short-term vision, a long-term vision. When you have a vision, you have a picture in your mind. After this is what I will achieve, and it's very, very important.
Hello everyone, welcome to the very first episode of Banking Buzz, a podcast session where we dive deep into the world of banking career and share insights with some of our banking experts. I am your host Ruchi here today, and I'm very thrilled to introduce a very special guest to all of you today, Anuja Misra, a highly respected bank manager with over 15 plus years of banking experience. Anuja, thank you for joining us today.
Oh.
Could you please tell us, the listeners today, a bit about your background?
Thank you so much, Ruchi, for calling me. Yes, so as I start, I'm a commerce graduate. I started from commerce, and that also I took it from 11th standard itself. Then I moved on doing my MBA finance full time from one of the renowned institute in Mumbai, that is V School, which was earlier known as Wellinger. And then from there I moved on into banking field, and here I am as assistant vice president in HDFC Bank and the branch manager. So that's a brief profile about it.
Great. So Anuja, what actually motivated you to take up a banking career?
Ruchi, you want me to be frank with you or tell you the reality or what is happening in the market?
That's a good one, Anuja. I want you to tell me what exactly motivated you to take up the banking industry.
To be very frank with you, as I told, I did my MBA finance from B School Wellinger. Okay, so my first job in banking actually happened as campus placement, and that time banking sector offered me the most lucrative job offer. Okay, and that itself, because moreover I was coming from finance background, banking was going to give me that platform where the financial products, your knowledge, wherever I see. And plus the other thing part is like I like communicating with people. Where else you can communicate with different kind of people.
Absolutely.
From different sectors, from different sections, from different society, different culture. This is a platform which will give me full exposure to that communication level, and where it will allow me to you put my expertise or my knowledge into the subject, and I'm giving them an exposure where they can expand professionally, and I can also advise them on the personal front, be it a personal finance or on business profession finance. Okay, so that is why where it motivated me to join banking. And I think being in the banking industry from past 15 years, I have done justice to what I really wanted to be in. So this is what motivated me to join the banking industry, and here I am.
Great. So that's actually a fact, because what you just said, that building network, where exactly will you get an opportunity to interact with so much a variety of customers, different profiles, right, with different backgrounds, etc. And putting that expertise into implementation, I think this is one of the best industries to work with, not only from an angle of utilizing your potential or expertise, but also I believe it is one of the rewarding careers today, right?
Yes.
So, would you like to share some aspects of banking career which you believe? What are those rewarding factors involved in this particular industry?
Okay, as I already said, the most rewarding point of banking industry is that you are getting to meet different kind of people. Okay, different kind of people from business, be it a self-employed, be it a salaried person, be it a student, student coming in, a minor, a parent, a housewife, a homemaker, or a person who's going to start the business, startup field, and also to that level where we are also meeting people at high level, directors, CEOs. So the most rewarding aspect of this banking industry is I get to meet people from all sections.
Of the community.
Yes, and that actually builds my horizon.
Correct.
Right, even I'm widening my horizon, what is happening in the industry, what is the trend, right? And plus this banking is giving me an opportunity to put forth, advising on the financial products or on the banking services, where I can actually pitch in and help these companies like startups and all, or what type of financial services we can provide. I'm being part to it, wherein that customer satisfaction is also coming, and it's a win-win situation for both of us. I'm also able to put forth my financial services and products. We are able to build a long-term relationship, and when a long-term relationship is coming into the picture, as they grow, we also grow, because it is totally on the trust basis.
Absolutely.
Right? So this is the most rewarding aspect, because at the end of the day, I'm getting satisfaction out of it. If I'm able to build that professional network to that trust level, that customer is coming back to me.
Exactly.
Right? And when he's growing, I'm also growing along with him or her, or the corporate sector, or whatever field they are into it.
Exactly.
Okay.
Exactly.
So this is what I feel.
Exactly. So, what, according to you, Anuja, you believe that these are the skill sets required to be a successful banker? Would you like to share that with our listeners today?
Skill sets, I'll be very specific, and I think you can also tell me I'm being very generic, but that generic word actually do not dilute these specific skills. The first and foremost is communication skills. Okay, why am I saying, when you have an effective communication skills, you can be vocal about, right, for whatever field you're working about, and then you can effectively engage with the customer. Right, you engage with the, not even with the customer, with your team members also you can engage effectively. Right? Then empathy is also a very important skill needed, because when you empathize, you put yourself into the shoes of the customer or your team member, or then you realize what exactly is lacking, or wherein I need to pitch in or enhance that ability. Then patience is also one of the most important skill required. Why? Because when somebody is coming to you, they are having an expectation that you will listen to them and then patiently also give a solution to it, because they are coming with that set of mind. Right? If you are not being patient, you will not even be a good listener, which comes my next skill, which is required as a banker. When you are patient, then you will be a good listener also. And when communication skills, patience, and you are a good listener, right, when all these things are then backed up by knowledge, you have to be a knowledgeable person on your products, on your services. Even if you have all these skills, communications, patience, being a good listener, empathy, but if that is not backed by knowledge, then wherein will you put put forward your products and services, and then you will not be able to give an effective solution.
Exactly.
Okay, so knowledge is also very, very important skill, which gets backed up with the remaining of the skills which I highlighted just now. When you have knowledge, you have power, and then you become vocal through your communication skills. You become a good listener, you empathize, because your everything is backed by knowledge, and then the experience comes into the picture.
Very true. Very true.
So these are the skills which a banker should hold.
Exactly.
This I'm telling out of my experience into the banking field. Communication skills, empathy, patience, being a good listener, and being knowledgeable plays a very, very important role, because that opens lot of avenues. When you are communicative, you are knowledgeable, when you are interacting with the customer, you will be able to put forth your banking products, your services to the customer. Then the customer gets an effective solution. It's a win-win, hand-hand situation, combination, which leads both of us succeeding.
Success. Absolutely. Very true, Anuja. So, I think if we have to summarize it, it's a combination of both soft skills as well as hard skills, right? Because communication, empathy, leadership skills, presentation, patience, as Anuja said, those combined, those together, put together, will be known as a soft skill sets, right? However, the knowledge part, which Anuja just mentioned, the banking products, the banking process, about the customers, the banking guidelines, that together will combine as a hard skills combination. Thank you, Anuja. Right. So, a very interesting fact which I would like to share with my listeners today, now at this point of the session, is that Anuja, besides being a veteran banker, she happened to be my colleague, my friend, my branchmate in the bank almost 12 years back, Anuja.
Yes. Yes.
Right? So we very well know, Anuja, how our day was as a relationship manager
Yes.
in the branch. Today, I would want you to share with our listeners, how is your typical day as a bank manager?
As a bank manager. So my typical day starts, of course, my seniors contacting us and letting us know what's happening at the seniority level. Of course, if we are at that level, we have to be known what is expected out of us during the day and how we are supposed to go about it. We also share success and failures, what has gone wrong, what has gone right, and our seniors also tell us the same thing. Then after our seniors meeting, we take a team huddle. Okay, as you know, huddle is a very good practice. That is the only time we get to be together. So like how my senior has taken it, then I take it with my team. Okay, so that typically goes for 15-20 minutes good, wherein we also talk what is required from the day, what has gone wrong, what is correct, what we can change. If if some team members says, no, this is not working out, that is not working out, I need help, that is the only time we can share this, right? And then we set the day. We have to set the day for us. Then I move on. Since I'm a bank manager, I'm supposed to check my emails. So I have to, at least mark out my important emails where I'm supposed to respond during the day, or, act upon it, mark it, and then immediately act upon it. And then, then the customers start coming, from 10 a.m. right? And the day goes on with the interaction. But the most important part during the whole day as a bank manager is being on the floor, because when I'm on the floor, we are aware what's happening at the ground level at each counter desk, because every counter works differently. A teller will work differently, a welcome desk will work differently, a salesperson will work differently, and as a branch manager, where I can get into it. So being on the floor with the customers, plus I have my own set of meetings which we decide previous day, or wherein we can go and meet customers. Secondly, in the afternoon, like if we 1 hour or 2 hours, we should know the catchment. We should know our catchment, because at the end of the day, be it any industry, we should know our competition, our catchment, what is happening around, what is coming in. So it is like being being aware of your surroundings. That is very important. If you're aware of your surroundings, you are in present. If you're not aware, you're not working, then you start working silo and it doesn't work. A team always works together. And then in the end, at the end of the day, of course, the operation part has to be taken care. Everything has to be reconciled, put back forth. All the whatever has been, deliverables during the day and all, everything has to be reconciled. Cash has to be reconciled. The operation work has to be. At the end of the day, operation and sales goes hand in hand. If that is not there, it will not work out. So at the end of the day, the operational part has to be reconciled. Instructions have been processed or acted upon, or what is not acted upon has been, clearly scrutinized and documented for what needs to be done tomorrow at the end of the day. And then we leave for the. And if we have a chance, we can interact, telephonically, and also during the time which is appropriate to call the customers, at least our branch customers, and what we want to plan out for the next day.
Absolutely. So the interesting part with all of you listeners today is that even though a veteran banker with 15 plus years of experience, you just heard her sharing with us that she also has, as a branch manager, even she has some client meetings to go out. Even she contributes. She is one of the prime contributor to the revenue of the branch, for that matter. And the another key point, which I think I took it from this particular insight, was that operations and sales go hand in hand. Right. So that was really an insight into how a day looks like of a successful bank manager. Anuja, besides sharing with us about what motivated you to banking industry, you also shared with us how does your typical day in the bank goes like. What are the top skills required in today's times to be a successful banker? I also want you to give us an insight on what is your advice to a person or to an aspiring individual who wants to start his or her career in the banking industry. What advice would you like to give him or her?
First of all, be open to changes. The way the world is shaping into, or the dynamics are moving around, you have to be adaptive to change. Okay, be open minded, volunteer to learn. Okay, don't say no. If you can do something, please go ahead and do it. Okay, do it with a passion to learn. When you expand your skills at various fields, that's how you grow up the ladder also. Okay, and take feedback constructively, right? That is very important. Positively, and never act without thinking, right? Because when your act determines your long-term tenure, you never know whom you will meet back again, right? And the field which we are into, this works totally on collaboration, networking, right? So our thoughts, and actions, as they say, actions speak louder than words, also shape our future, and how we are going to build and come up the curve.
Very true, very true. So what do you think, Anuja, banking evolving as in the next 5 years from now? What is the future of banking also? Probably that can give an insight to an aspiring banker also on how to prepare for that upcoming evolving banking industry.
See, 5 years, now you can only see the trend, technology. Right, a lot of technological advancement has come into the banking, right? So you have to be adaptive to that technology. Moreover, if you see future of banking, interaction with the humans will become less, and it will be more integrated technology communication.
Correct.
Okay. Plus, being available 24/7, right? Banking will evolve into that. Right. Then being omnipresent on the on you right now. You say I can't be omnipresent, but I think the way the banking is moving, okay, it requires technology will get added up with cyber security, fraud prevention will also become very part of banking, how it goes, security, data security. So we are going to see a lot of, then yes, data analytics, how analytics is playing a part, in advising customers on financial products and services, or we customizing and giving it to customers, and you know this is available based on your eligibility. Analytics is also paying a way. So technology, in a way, all this combinations part, you can say will evolve, shape up eventually. So the human intervention will become less. Right, how people are going to adopt to technology, but I'm not saying the human part will totally disappear. At the end of the day, you need that human intervention to tell, sir, this is, sir or ma'am, or this is what will be good for you, this is applicable, this is how you use it. But yes, it comes down to a level, because when a person becomes adopted to technology, it also gives you a personalization, choices and all. Right, so you have a platform where 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 10 things are there. To make a choice, you may need a manager still there. Right, but the technology also tells you out of those 10 products which one will be best, because that analytics is doing based on your transactions.
Right. So does that mean, Anuja, that with the upcoming technology, I do understand, if I have understood you correctly, the basic transactional kind of work, the basic operational kind of work can be seen as getting depleted slowly and gradually, and the advisory roles, the customer handling roles in terms of advising the customer, is that, do you believe that that will still play safe?
Yes. What you're advising to the customer will play a very major role. See, today also, there are so many banks, correct? We ourselves have so many bank accounts, right? I'm not saying so many, I'm just saying one main bank, one, two, second, I may keep a secondary bank and all. But how do I decide my main banker? The bank which I'm more adaptive to it, the bank which responds to me, the bank which is giving me more opportunity. Right, so I want to be with that bank. Today customer says, no, I don't want to bank with you. Why? The first thing, no, I don't like your service. Right, so service is going to play a major role, because that builds your relationship with the bank and all your services, and that's how that chain goes on. Service leads to sales. And then when the services after sales service also defines your repetitive sales. Right, okay, so your services leads to new sale sustainability, repeat business. How that comes after sales service, right, which you give to the customer, and that is how the customers stick to you. Right, so even though we are adopting to the technology, who is playing a major role in being very prompt, networking with us, telling us this is good, this is bad, this is how you should adopt technology, this is how you should prevent fraud, what is good, what is bad, how can you define it, and how you think this is good in the long term for me. Somewhere that advisory role will definitely play. That's why we say investment products, we need an investment. We have investment advisors in banking also. We need managers to tell people, sir, based on this, you are eligible for this product. You go for it. This is feasible for you. Your eligibility is coming. In the long run, you will be able to manage this product, and then you can add additional products to it, right? Or you can add these additional services. So somebody telling, see, when you go to a market also, you have so many products, but you will only buy what is required of you, or somebody tells you this is required. Right, somebody, that is where they say that story comes into the picture. Our day-to-day life story also plays a very major part in your selection of products and services.
Exactly, and that brings back to the same point. In fact, I think it is not an exaggeration to say that the individual's knowledge, skill levels will again play a very big role
Yes.
to remain, to not to become obsolete in this industry.
Yes.
Right.
I'm just giving you a very basic example. You have red, yellow, green, blue, green. Okay. But you yourself, as a layman person, you are seeing it as red, yellow, blue, green, white. Right? There is an expertise who has a knowledge about these red, blue, green, yellow, white with the features. That's where knowledge, your service plays a part. Who is able to differentiate that these are not only just colors, these boxes are actually defining the features of the product. This is for you, this is why you should take it. Otherwise, I just see them as some boxes with colors. Okay, and that is where your knowledge, your communication, your feature of the product, knowing it. And then when I say analytics, you already have a data. All these, every bank has a data key, how customer is transacting, what he's doing, what he or she are not doing, and what you can present.
Exactly.
Okay, so that also comes into picture when you're prepared.
Absolutely. And that's such a deep insight on this particular, the evolvement. I can say that, the future, how the industry, this banking and financial service sector will shape up to, Anuja. Let's move on to another point, which I believe, being ourselves as a woman, what challenges do you see that women face in this banking industry, and how can they overcome them?
Okay, we as a woman, we still see or perceive that women cannot manage large chunk of money. That perception is still there somewhere at the corner of the mind, subset of the mind of people. Women cannot manage large chunk of money. Okay, so that is still a challenge, and that is that. If you ask me the next question, how we are here to stay, right? First thing I will give an advice to a woman: don't take your career for granted. You are here to stay and grow, right? When you first, and as a person, be it a woman or a man or a boy or a girl, you should know your strengths, right? And you should be ready to widen your horizon, your perspective, right? When you widen that, then you know your strengths and weaknesses, and you are able to specialize in one of the skills and move ahead in career, right? You develop a expertise in a particular skill. All people are not born with all the same set of skills. We all have our own strengths and weaknesses. So when we are open to that, don't challenge yourself, I cannot do it. Don't leave it that. You open, then you will come to know you can do it or not. Don't think I'm only consigned to an operational work. No. As I said, operations and sales goes hand in hand.
Exactly.
If you're excellent in operation, you can very well do sales. Why? Because operation has taught you that nitty-gritty of banking, which a person comes and asks you, and you are ready with the answer. Right? So more customers will approach you because they know you are knowledgeable. And when you are knowledgeable, you are able to be more vocal. You can advise. And it is not about large chunk of money or small chunk of money. When we have money, our day-to-day experience, how we manage the customers, how we have been doing it in our personal life, or how we have seen our parents or in our family, we all know, and everybody's experience comes from the same root. Roots are here, so that root cannot change anyway, right?
Exactly.
So this is where the challenge comes, and you are there to tell, sir, this is from day to day. We are not coming from a different field, and we can manage. Your knowledge plays a role, your communication, you being vocal, you're there to stay, and then your follow-ups, networking plays a major role in that.
Yes.
It is like, it's all in your mind.
Absolutely.
Your mind makes you.
Great. Anuja, what is that one piece of advice you wish someone would have given you at the start of your career?
To have a vision. You need to have a vision. A short-term vision, a long-term vision. When you have a vision, you have a picture in your mind. After this is what I will achieve. And it's very, very important. And that is how, when you have a vision, You don't act without thinking, because you are keeping your long-term vision also into picture. If you don't have a vision, you're just working, right? So when you get into an industry, you understand the hierarchy, you understand the dynamics, you have a mentor whom you admire. If you're admiring that mentor, learn from that mentor, because that is where you want to be, correct? If you have notched that vision, right? So if you ask me, I'm coming from a, I started working from the age of 20, okay, and my first job was from financial services industry. I'm a taxation background, so my financial services taught me, on being on taxation part. Then I moved on into full-time MBA finance, and then from there on, investment banking, and then as a relationship manager I worked, and from relationship manager I moved to branch banking. Okay, so the vision plays a very important role. When I'm a relationship manager, my vision was to succeed as a manager, how much network I built, right? And as I said, that time banking gave me the lucrative job offer, but that lucrativeness has to stay. When it will stay? When I'm able to understand my job well. I understand the requirement. Everybody knows sales do not come, without incentives, right? If you don't understand that, what are you doing sales for, right? You don't work just for the sake of working. There's something you have to get in return. Either you have to get job satisfaction, or job satisfaction, it can be in any way. You can do it in behavioral matter, or as I said, I'm able to provide, I'm building a long trusting relationship. I'm in the same bank from past 12 years. My customers have moved on with me, and I take that a pride also, right? My customers have moved on with me from branches to branches in these 12 years, because that is a trust I have developed. They have also helped me to grow, right? Okay, so you need to have a vision. When you have a vision, then you are able to come up the ladder. You know what is next you need to do. You start working towards it. You develop your skills. You take that product knowledge. You be part of those events. You plan your work like that, and you're able to maintain that work life balance, because you know where I want to divert my energy to, right?
Exactly.
So having a vision is very important. Okay, please have a short term vision also, and a long term vision. Work towards it, because that will actually channelize your energy into the right direction.
Absolutely. So the key word here is vision, my dear listeners. And the next one is, Anuja, how can our listeners stay connected with you and your work?
Very well, LinkedIn. Please
Absolutely. Absolutely. So as we all know, LinkedIn is one of the platforms where you can stay connected with our guest today. And with this, I would like to conclude our podcast session today. Thank you so much,
Thank you,
Anuja,
Ruchi.
for joining us, for sharing your valuable insights, your experience, your advices for all our listeners today who are probably aspiring to become a successful banker. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Stay tuned for our next podcast session. Till that time, goodbye, Ruchi.